The campus slowly returns to its normal rhythm. Students laugh between classes, music plays outside the student center, and conversations have already shifted to exams and weekend plans. For most people, the rumor is yesterday's news, but not for Ethan. On his way to class, Ethan notices the same student in the gray hoodie standing alone near the science building. The student sees Ethan, hesitates, and begins walking away. Feeling that he deserves answers, Ethan follows him until they reach a quiet courtyard behind the library. Ethan calls out to him. The student stops, turns around, and introduces himself as Noah. Looking nervous, Noah admits he owes Ethan an explanation. He reveals that a few days earlier, another student, someone he recognized from campus but didn't know personally, approached him after class and handed him a sealed envelope. Inside were printed screenshots that appeared to show Ethan speaking negatively about Emma after she won the scholarship. The messages suggested Ethan was jealous of her success and wanted students to believe she had only received the scholarship because certain professors favored her. Noah explains that he asked why he was being given the envelope. The student simply replied that Emma deserved to know the truth and that she would be more likely to believe the evidence if it came anonymously. Noah admits that he believed every word because the screenshots looked genuine. He also remembers seeing how disappointed Ethan looked after the scholarship announcement, making the story seem believable. Looking down with regret, Noah apologizes for helping spread the rumor without checking whether the information was real. Just then, Emma arrives at the library carrying a stack of books. She notices Ethan talking to someone and senses something serious is happening. Ethan asks her to listen before making any assumptions. Noah apologizes directly to Emma and hands her the envelope. Together, Ethan and Emma compare the printed screenshots with the messages on Ethan's phone. It quickly becomes obvious that the screenshots were edited. The timestamps don't match, parts of conversations are missing, and several messages contain words Ethan has never used. Someone deliberately created fake evidence to frame him. Emma closes the envelope and quietly tells Ethan that she never believed he could have written those messages. Ethan smiles with relief, knowing that her trust never disappeared. Noah apologizes once more for believing the lie, and Ethan shakes his hand, telling him that everyone makes mistakes. At that moment, the weight of the rumor finally begins to disappear. Later that afternoon, Professor Reynolds briefly addresses the class. Without mentioning names, he reminds everyone how quickly rumors can spread and how easily false information can damage people's lives. He encourages students to verify facts before believing what they hear. The room falls silent as everyone reflects on what happened. Within a few days, campus life returns to normal. The whispers disappear, and students move on to other things. The following week feels peaceful again. Ethan and Emma study together, grab coffee between classes, and spend time with Jake, Olivia, and Mia. Jake jokes that campus has finally become boring again, making everyone laugh. For a while, it feels as though everything is finally back to normal. One afternoon, Ethan and Emma sit together on a bench, overlooking the campus quad, watching students hurry to their next classes. Emma smiles and says how nice it is that nobody is whispering anymore. Ethan agrees, but after a long pause, he quietly admits that he still can't stop thinking about the person who started the rumor. Emma's smile fades. She thought that chapter of their lives was over. Ethan explains that someone carefully planned everything, edited messages, and tried to destroy both of their reputations. Even though they proved the truth, the person responsible is still out there. Emma gently tells him that maybe they will never know who it was, and that sometimes the healthiest choice is simply to move forward. Ethan disagrees. He believes that if someone was willing to do this once, they could easily do it again to someone else. Their conversation slowly becomes more emotional. Emma tells Ethan that he has been thinking about the rumor every day and that it is beginning to change him. She says he questions everyone now and no longer trusts people the way he used to. Ethan quietly replies that maybe trusting people too easily is exactly what allowed this to happen in the first place. Emma stops walking and looks directly at him. She asks if he really believes they should start assuming the worst about everyone. Ethan explains that he isn't saying everyone is dishonest, only that people are not always who they appear to be. Emma sadly tells him that he isn't acting like himself anymore. After a long silence, Emma asks a simple question: "Do you trust me?" Without hesitation, Ethan answers that he does. Emma looks into his eyes and says, "Then trust me when I say it's time to let this go." Ethan wants to agree, but he can't. He quietly admits that he can't simply pretend none of it happened. Emma gently replies, "I never asked you to pretend. I asked you to heal." Neither of them raises their voice. Neither says anything cruel. Yet those few words hurt more than any shouting could have. Emma tells Ethan that they both need a little space before turning and walking away. Ethan watches her leave, unable to find the right words to stop her. Later that evening, Jake finds Ethan sitting alone outside the student center. He sits beside him in silence before finally asking one simple question. "So, was winning the argument worth it?" Ethan stares into the distance and quietly answers, "I don't even know what I won." Across campus, Olivia sits beside Emma. She asks whether Ethan was wrong. Emma thinks for a moment before softly replying, "No, he was scared." As the sun begins to set, Ethan walks past a recycling bin and reaches into his backpack. He pulls out the envelope one final time and looks at the fake screenshots that cause so much pain. Slowly, he tears them into small pieces and drops them into the recycling bin. The rumor is finally over. As Ethan continues walking, he notices Emma laughing with Olivia across the campus walkway. Normally, he would have walked over without thinking. This time, he simply watches for a moment before quietly continuing in the opposite direction. For the first time since they met, the distance between them feels much greater than the few steps separating them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share, and comment, and join us next time to find out what happens next.